is that I got my mama here with me.
Oh,
What is your name? I know we've spoken many times, but
oh, me? I'm Trisha.
yeah. Hi, Trisha. I know we
Hi.
go with that,
So
but
good
thanks
to
for
meet
being
you or talk to you again.
Yes, right. We've come so far. Awesome. Anybody else have any wins they want to share? Anything good going on in your world, in your personal life, in business, whatever? Cool. Love when we show up lots of problems. It's called job security. All right. Well, just to kind of give you a heads up, if you haven't been following on the grams, most of you have messaged me. Went on my 40th birthday ski trip last week into Bend, Oregon, formerly my happy place, and got my kids a ski instructor because it was their first time ever skiing, and I've been envisioning this for 5 years, building it up in my head to be this most amazing thing. Had my parents there, like it's a big to-do for the 40th birthday. And my kids are starting to learn, like they've had a couple of good practices and like the little tiny baby hills and kind of go out to little bigger hills. And there's an issue with my lift ticket. So I need to go to the lodge to go fix the lift ticket. But the instructor's doing great. He's waxed their skis, so they're getting, down the little hill. And I get in there and I'm working with the customer service or whatever. And I get a text message from him that says, Riley had a tumble. That's my 6-year-old daughter. And we're waiting for you to come back. I'm like, okay, whatever. Like, she had a tumble, no big deal. 3 minutes later, he says, I'm really worried about her leg. I'm calling ski patrol. Well, now I really need to go. So run out there. She is face down in the snow, screaming, and will not let anybody move her. Ski patrol shows up. She is in hysterics, and they put us in a toboggan and they strap her leg to my leg. They can't get the boot off on the snow, so they take us to the clinic. So we go to the little ski patrol clinic. And they think it's broken, so they can give her fentanyl there and we can go down the hill in an ambulance, or they can stabilize her and I can take her into urgent care. Did that. 7 hours later, yes, it is broken. She broke her tibia. So she has 3 little fracture marks in her tibia. Homegirl, go big or go home. But this happened on Friday and Saturday was my birthday. So if you don't know my daughter, or if you haven't heard me talk about her, she's a little spicy. Which basically means she has very, very significant behavioral challenges. ADHD doesn't even cover it. We're like ODD, oppositional defiance disorder, just very emotionally dysregulated, which for me, who knows how to handle emotions, it's even beyond like my bandwidth of how to support her in this. So when you have a child that is in lots of pain, refusing to take pain medications, is screaming at you, clawing at you just to even go to the bathroom, it was incredibly traumatizing. Trying not to get emotional about it. So it became 70,000 problems to solve for at one time. It was very overwhelming. And for her to not, like, it got to the point where I had to let her pee on the ground in the bathroom because I couldn't get her to the toilet because she just would not let me. Then she just sat there in her pee, and I'm sitting there going, how do I even get my child to function? She won't eat, she won't take medicine, much less how am I going to get her home? I have to carry her everywhere. Like, she's in a splint, but it's a soft splint, so even moving her jostles her. And we were stuck in a very small town in Oregon. So it became one problem at a time. And so there is a life lesson in all of this of you can't solve for everything and you can't anticipate everything. And sometimes when it becomes so overwhelming to try and imagine what problems lie ahead, when you can't even figure out what the best solution is for now, you just have to live in the now. Your anxiety is going to paint out a very, very dark picture of the future, and it may be better, it may be worse, we don't know. But oftentimes just being in the moment of what is it I need to solve for now? What is the immediate problem that I have now before I start solving for the next problem? And it's very stressful. What made a difference was getting sleep, which I struggled to do, but I got a great night's sleep on Saturday because I finally got her to take her pain meds. So I got about 6 hours of sleep, and that makes a difference in your brain's ability to function and start to creatively problem solve. When you're not getting sleep, when you're not taking care of your body, you can't solve for anything. So that becomes the first thing. Your body has to be functioning for you to solve for a lot of problems that you're going to face in business and in life. So then it became, how do I get us home safely? Because there was only a very specific seat on a plane that she could fly in with her leg fully straight, because she was in a full leg splint. So then that became the challenge. And that, I mean, I booked it, but then it changed and then it had to rework it. And it was just like snowball effect, right? And again, it's like, I can't solve for everything. We had delays. Like it really was a great practice in being present in the moment of what you can control and what you can't. And it was interesting to watch even on a travel day Tuesday, which I had anticipated to be miserable. But cool thing is that when she's around other people, especially strangers, she doesn't want to make a scene. So she did great. And I was a, poster child for CrossFit, lifting this child into like weird, awkward spots as like a 40-year-old mom. So you just creatively problem solve, and it's not going to be pretty and it's not going to be perfect, but you get through it. So now that we're home, she doesn't have to have surgery, and best case scenario, she only has this full leg cast on for 2 weeks. Then she moves into a walking boot in 2 weeks. So my projection was it was going to be 8 weeks of her being immobilized completely, which seemed like hell. So we cut that down. Asking for help and support. It was very interesting to me to share. We've had the most story views that we've ever had as I shared this on Instagram stories. What? Like I didn't share anything about business, but it was that human connection and that relatability of like somebody struggling, which to some extent is kind of sad. It's like we want to watch the car accidents, but nothing else, right? Like somebody else is struggling. Cool, it's entertainment. But it's also because we got a lot of engagement on the stories of people sending well wishes and being empathetic, and then new people are seeing it, or people who follow us a long time ago who forgot that they followed us, and all of a sudden there I am again. And so then our posts got more engagement. And so it was very interesting for me to something that I realized probably a while ago, but the more human connection and more personal touches of a human you can put on your social media, and the more you can relate to the people watching your content from a human perspective, creates more attention. And that's really the game that we're playing when it comes to marketing. Is it's an attention game, right? You are competing not just against your competitors. When it comes to marketing, and specifically online marketing, you're competing against cat videos and Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce at the Super Bowl and the latest funny meme. And now we're going to get into election stuff. Like, you're not just competing for attention for beauty service providers in your area. You're competing for attention in general. That's why that in-person relationship that you have with current clients and any sort of in-person stuff, you already have that attention because you've got them one-on-one. So all of that to say, like, I know there's probably gonna be a lot of heavy marketing focused conversations. I know some of you all are kind of having a dip in some clients, and we're going to cover that today. But I want you to be thinking about, if you can, increase your empathy and pretend like you're your ideal client. Put yourself in their shoes. What insecurities does she have? Can you relate to that? Can you draw that into yourself of like the things that you guys help somebody change their physical appearance? What does that do to them internally? And the more you can speak to that in your marketing, the more relatable it will be, the easier your selling will be. The better your marketing is, the easier selling is. But you have to be seen as relatable. So for those of you with teams, sometimes that means that maybe your team members need to have their face. I can almost guarantee if I went to every single one of your Instagram pages, the content that had the most likes and engagement would be pictures of you or your team sharing something, right? So maybe it's a mix of introducing something personal with boundaries, right? Like, we're not there to use it as a personal brand, and we're not there to use it to dump. Like I very rarely put my kids on social media, but part of my audience is moms, and so they relate to the struggles of parenting and running a business. But it makes me relatable, right? And that's what we want in our marketing, is for somebody to feel seen and understood by a stranger on the internet or a beauty business, right? So all of that to say, when you're overwhelmed, the best thing to do is just pick one problem to solve for. And sometimes that problem is getting sleep at a bare minimum. All right, now that we've had that motivational talk, and then you just show up messy and you delegate to your team, and you see who is there for you in your life and who is not. And, you clean house when you go through crises. All right, so let's get her started. If you want to throw into the chat that you need some support, well, Carrie's already on top of it. So Carrie, let's pull your stuff up and dive right in. And then if you guys want to throw in the chat, if you have a question or you want some hot seat coaching, we can do that. All right, Carrie, go ahead and mute yourself. Let me pull up your financials.
Hello.
Hi, Boo Boo. How are ya?
Good.
Good.
I feel like
could be better. Could be worse.
Yeah, right. Could be better. Could be worse. I kind of had to pedal backwards in the program a little bit. As you know, the marketing really needed to get that down before I could kind of move forward. And I feel
Yep.
like as far as my finances, they're looking pretty darn good. As far as profitability, and keeping my operating expenses down.
Yeah.
Taxes were in January, so that percentage, obviously that first one really got me, but it's okay. I'll make up for
Yeah.
it next
One of the necessary evils, right? Pay taxes so we can run businesses.
Yep,
You
unfortunate.
were profitable last year.
But I did add a couple columns that I just wanted you to take a look at. And I think I did it correctly to make sure like that the math is gonna be easy as I input things throughout the month. I added in what my payroll is and then my my medical director fee is, so that it gets added as the total income for the business. And
Okay.
then that way, and yeah, it's kind of like a bunch of math that I was trying to figure out. That way I can kind of calculate that into my total expenses so that my percent of expenses are including the payroll. Because I think that's really what I'm missing, because I have the two accounts.
Okay, so let me see if I can wrap my brain around this.
I
and
literally had to draw myself a map.
Yeah. So money coming in
Mhm.
to the bank account goes to what? The LLC or the PLLC?
All has to funnel to the PLLC.
Okay. So you're making payroll out of this.
The PLLC.
And then why are we adding this to income? Why is that an income amount? Aren't these
That
expenses
is not
coming?
okay. Nope, that's a totally different account. So total, like the total income that's hitting the PLLC. I don't even know if I need that, I guess. I probably should just get rid of that. I think that's what's throwing me off.
Okay, because it's combining
Yeah.
income, but it's taking an expenses income and then your
Yeah.
medical director fee income to get that number. So that doesn't make sense math wise.
No, yeah. Well, I was adding the total. Yeah, I know it's confusing. So because the amount that goes into my LLC excludes payroll and the director fee, because that gets taken out before it hits my bank account, which is what my CPA manages, is my LLC. So that total income to LLC is the only thing that gets managed.
Hold on.
Yeah, no problem.
Which column, B or E, shows how much money came into the business for the month?
The total income to PLLC.
Okay, so I think in order it might be switched.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so if we did, hold on, I want to make sure I keep these numbers. Oh, shoot.
I have in my head what I'm thinking, but I just like can't put it on this spreadsheet. It's like not making sense.
Okay, then payroll gets taken out. So this needs to be this equals this minus, oh no, not that one. Darn you, formula. So this is equals this minus this minus.
Perfect.
Hold on, I think we're gonna need to do it this way, just in case it wants to be wonky. Okay, yeah, that matches. Okay, so now you can look at from here what hits the LLC.
Got it. Yes. Okay.
So the only thing is, so for this number, I'm just going to add your payroll into it.
Yeah.
Okay, I know technically it's coming out of a different bank account, but we still need to account for it in COGS. So if I do
that's what I was trying to do.
F plus C, that should give you an accurate percentage of COGS, the combined.
Okay.
Does that make more sense?
Yeah. And I think, did you see my little like note to myself? Total expenses manually add in medical director and payroll. So I don't know what that, I don't know if that's correct either.
Manually added medical director and payroll. So now you don't need to do that because you've already accounted for medical director. So really where you're going to be making your decisions moving forward is just based on these over here. Just like normal, but you're tracking this so that you're not losing it. Okay.
Yeah. Cool. I just want to calculate it into the payroll. That was like a huge thing that I was missing out of this spreadsheet. That's, it's a little bit.
I know you're little bird. I'm going to make all of
I
these
know.
zeros, so I'm not confused. Just add it in each month, but it was
Yep.
skewing your numbers a little bit.
Okay, so
Like, I don't know why. So this we need to adjust to F, no, not B50, E50. So all of your spreadsheet stuff is now having to go down a line. So,
Okay.
or sorry, E. What do we do here?
I think I did something with the total expenses. For some reason, I put payroll into expenses. And I didn't mean for that.
So this is not all your expenses, it includes payroll?
No, the percent expenses to team. Yeah,
So
what's that
this would-
calculate? Yeah, what's that calculation in there?
This divided by this. This is correct.
Okay, cool. All right. Then that, yeah.
It seems awfully high is
Yeah.
the only thing, right? So
it was because of taxes. Yeah.
got it.
I paid like 11 grand in taxes. So there's that.
38. So this we need to change to E38. That's why it's off. Okay. Because you should take a loss when you combine these two. Hold on, why is that not working out? Oh, I see what we're gonna do. Okay, so we're gonna do because technically you weren't profitable, right? Well, I guess we already took payroll out there. Okay. Yeah, you'd have been a teeny tiny bit profitable. But
Yeah,
okay. That's fine.
it was with taxes, but
I'm just going to take these formulas and draw them all the way down and make sure they're correct. Yep. When the numbers don't match, that's a problem. Okay. All right. So this is just a layer of complexity specific to her business, just because she does have a director and different things. Again, when we complicate business, that just makes it harder. All right.
Nice.
Cool. So now you have an understanding. Why is it not giving me my pretty little thing? Okay. So
perfect.
how much did you pay in taxes?
Like 11 grand. I had Michigan and I can't remember exactly, but it was about 11 grand. Yeah, 9 went to federal and like 2 went to state.
Right. So 11 grand. So really your real expenses are about 5 grand a month of operating expenses. Oh, well, you're golden. Yeah, that's right. Okay, cool. Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome. Okay. So really, and then we could break this down even more. You could break this up into med spa services, one column versus spa services. We can go spreadsheet hack, but right now, you have a formula that's profitable, but it is more so because of the med spa services, and we're looking to get our spa side more profitable. So talk to me about how the marketing is going and where we're at with trying to drive sales into the spa side.
So I turned my ads off just to kind of work on the back end to make sure the patient journey or the client journey was fluid. So I did, let me see what I was just watching it. Right now I'm on one of the Success Path trainings in the Lashpreneur Society. I'm on like part 4 of the social media basics. So today where I'm at is I went through all my followers and I deleted all other med spas. There was a lot of med spas and injectors and suppliers and reps that were following me. So I don't really care if they see my posts or not. So I had them dismissed. I don't know how to say that. Like they got the boot. Yeah. It was about 500 that I removed. Wow. So I was actually pretty surprised. I think I started off at like 1,700 followers and now I have about like 13 or something like that. But I mean, a pretty significant still amount of followers. So I was like happy to see that it didn't go from like to 2 or 3. So I'm glad.
Have you posted since then?
Have I
doing all that?
No, I have not.
Have you posted since? Okay. So you might just take a past post that did all right and repost it and see if it doesn't do better now that you've
Okay.
gotten some of the, but to my point, 53 hearts, 4 comments, 31, 15, 64, the faces, the people.
The people. They love the people.
Mixing it in, because as you see that, then people will start to see some of your other posts.
Mhm.
So just try to incorporate the human side of it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you guys have been following along on the feed. We have the thread we have going on in the Facebook group with her specifically. It's really good to go back and look through it. If you have not been a member of the Lashpreneur Society and gone through those trainings, that is like foundational marketing stuff that sometimes I forget. Not people don't start off in that program, but that's going to help you understand target marketing, your unique selling point, what makes you different than everybody else. It's going to talk about the marketing funnel and how to start to establish that at a very baseline level. You guys have a more advanced training on that in the mastermind curriculum. It's going to talk about your website and really talking through the customer or client journey of your marketing and being intentional about who you're targeting, who you're speaking to, the specific pain points, so that your marketing actually connects. There's also a marketing messaging training that I think I linked for you, if I remember right, where you can practice writing out captions that actually speak to the pain points that you guys solve for in your business. So there's a lot of really good stuff that we can refer you to, and obviously conversations here. And then I was just telling Victoria before this, I kind of feel like it might be beneficial for you guys if we did like a funnel review for each of you, where we looked at your website, gave you some feedback of what it looks like to have fresh eyes of your ideal customer. Is she knowing where to click, where to go? Looking at whatever mid-level marketing funnel, whether it's interest level marketing, whether it's reviews, whether it's your Google My Business or your social media or email marketing or whatever you're doing to nurture that relationship ongoing. And then we can do a review of whatever awareness level marketing you have, whether it's looking at some ads you have going on, a referral program, word of mouth marketing, just kind of talking through some strategies there. So bandwidth wise, I'm not sure how we're going to quite implement that yet, but I do think getting those foundational pieces in place for then us to test different promotions and getting more people in. If you've been a member for the Lashpreneur Society for a long time, we do this all the time. So kind of bear with us as we try to figure out what that's going to look like. But again, when you come to these coaching calls, we do a lot of the stuff, you're going to pick up on it anyways. Okay, cool, Natalie. Yeah, awesome.
So yeah,
Right,
I revamped some of the I changed the bio to very like brand specific, what my avatar would want to see. I put a location instead of just putting the name of my place, put my link in, and then when you click the link, I changed my homepage. So I even have it say click to start your journey, and then the link says start your journey here. So I made it super simple, like a 5-year-old, just like you say.
Love
Yeah.
Let me look at it on mobile too. Just FYI, almost everybody coming to your website is going to be mobile, so your mobile view has to be top notch. It could look amazing on desktop and stuck
Exactly.
on mobile. I typed it in wrong. Instead of missing an E. Okay, so we'll talk a little bit about website-ness. It's gonna be a little hard because I don't have my phone pulled up. So this is her website on mobile. So anything you see when you first land on a page is called above the fold. The fold is this little thing here. So you scroll, that's now moving past the fold. So this is the above the fold. It is the most important piece of your homepage. It is what gets people to stay or to click off. It is very valuable real estate. Okay, so what happens here is the most important. So when we look at her mobile view, can you guys put in the chat just your first view of it? What is it you see? What is it you like? What is it you don't like? Now, yes, I know it's backwards, but it's still got the same, your beauty is timeless, not a trend. If you are a first-time visitor to a website, is this like, cool, I feel seen and understood, and oh, I'm in the right spot? Clicked on her social media, get started on your journey. This is where your journey takes you. Not super eye-catchy, a little plain. I have no idea what to do next, a little bland. You're taking up a ton, almost half of it is this, your beauty is timeless, not a trend quote.
Well, I was trying to get rid of it and it wouldn't let me. So it was either like,
what's your website host?
So it's through my booking software, Jane. It's called
Okay.
Clinic Sites.
Okay. So one thing could be that you could message their support. Anytime you have a website thing that you don't know how to do, ask them, right? Like
Yeah.
I'm not going to know how to do it. You could hire somebody to do it, but most of the time chat support is really helpful in helping you figure it out. Even
Okay.
if you couldn't figure it out, I would just delete it. Like if
Okay.
it's that taking up that much space, like this is where you have to catch their attention. Again, it's
I
the
know.
attention. So they have
Okay.
built relationship with you. They're either clicking to go to your website from an ad or social media, or primarily the lead sources coming in. So what we
Okay.
want, as we teach inside those Lashpreneur Society trainings, is what is your unique selling point that you can have right there, knowing that you guys mostly have a lot of competition. Like it's not like you're just the only person who does your services in your area. Chances are that you're being compared to somebody else, if not a bunch of somebody else. So when we
Mhm.
look at the statement, your beauty is timeless, not a trend. With your most favorite client type, your MFC, your target market in mind, is she going to go, oh, that's so different. That's so unique. Ooh, I'm curious to learn more. I'm asking you, Carrie.
Yes. In the med spa world, most of my clients and the people that I want to bring in are not the ones that want their fox eye. They don't want huge Kardashian lips. They want to look like themselves. So for the
You're not
most
actually
part,
that quote, your beauty is timeless, not a trend. Do they feel seen, understood, heard, or curious about what you offered based on that quote?
I feel like curious. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to call bullshit. And you guys tell me, you put in the chat too. It's so vague, and it's a great Instagram post of like motivation and inspiration. But if I'm
Okay.
comparing you to somebody else who charges $2 less a unit per Botox or $50 less than a facial, is this quote, the thing that is taking up half of your above the fold, going to be the thing that makes me decide, yep, I'm here, I'm seen?
No, probably the next thing would
That's
though.
how we have to look at it. Huh?
Probably the next thing. If they did get to scroll down, maybe the next thing I say. So if I
It's not
got rid
helping
of
me make this. It's a great thing from a social media standpoint to like create interest or a like, but it is not helping me make a decision to invest $185 in a discounted service.
no, I
Does
mean
that make sense?
not the quote,
Oh, the
but
next
below the
down
quote.
here.
Yes, that down there.
Okay.
Which I can make more visible.
Yeah. Look, if you looked at this would be your above the fold. If that's where it started, if you deleted the quote, much better. Right? It's got the brand color, so it's going to match what they're seeing on social media. So we've got the branding going. It talks about your natural refined results. I want to come back to that. Remind me to come back to that. It says we utilize treatments that have little to no downtime that can be performed on any skin type or tone to enhance your natural born beauty, not alter it. Fucking love it. Yes, for sure. Anti-Kardashian types. I love that we have a lot of ethnicities represented here. Like it is the average everyday woman. Although I would say these women in these photos are probably maybe a little bit younger than the type of women you have coming in. Is that true or not?
I like 30s to 40s because when you get in the 50s and 60s, they're hard to treat in the med spa world. They're more like on the plastic surgery end.
I just feel like two girls look like they're like 18, but that's just maybe my maybe they've got really good Botox.
They're starting young.
Okay. I don't love refined results. To me, there's a better word we could use. Natural's fine. Like I like that. I think that definitely, we're not trying to make you, duck lips and all that. You might even just take that out and say, we believe in natural results.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Simplified. Refined, nobody's Googling, I want to have a refined result. I want to have refined Botox. But I think natural results would be very much what your ideal client. And I like that these women are modeling that. It's not crazy, outlandish makeup. So I think you did a good job in picking the photo that's going to represent. Okay, cool. All right, so going down, this is laid out beautifully. I think we could probably get away from using the super scripty font. It's hard to read.
Okay.
Okay. I might also put injectables instead of Botox / Dysport or however you say it. Just because I think that's a catch-all for both of them.
Yeah.
Although you're doing dermal filler, which is still technically an injectable, right?
Yeah, for sure. That would go on both.
either one. You can leave it as that. Just, I would switch to your other brand font that's not so scripty because it's hard to read. All right,
Got
cool.
it.
So if you're looking for a professional, clean, and feel at home place to get your personal needs done, go see Carrie. Okay, so when we're talking about, and you can switch these out and edit these as your business needs. So, so these are the reviews, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So we're trying to heavily focus on spa side. Yes, a little bit on the injectables. However, where you're trying to see the most growth is the spa side, correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what we want to do. We want to look at, again, when we're looking at somebody's attention, we want the thing that we're trying to get them to book front and center, right? Especially if we're running ads that are specific to it, to not make it hard for them to find and get support and like ideas of what this is going to look like. So even something as simple as moving your skincare to the first spot. And I wouldn't necessarily say skincare, I would say facials or something that's a little more service specific. Because when I think skincare, even though I'm in this world, I think of retail. I think of stuff that I'm taking home, not an actual service. So it could be skincare services or facials or treatments or something along those lines where it's a little bit more clear that this is going to take you to learn more, right? Because these are clickable. Oh, these aren't clickable.
No, they're just.
Oh, can we make these clickable?
Yeah, I can make them clickable.
Yeah, make them clickable to go to the services page. Right. So even if it says like learn more or something, if you can add a link or whatever you can, because my natural instinct as a user is to click on it and go, oh, dermal filler. Oh, wait, I can't. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And then even with your reviews, I would move the reviews up for the spa side up higher and have the med spa ones a little bit lower. Another thing too, and again, it's going to be a limitation of your website probably, but if we can even put a stock photo or ideally a real photo of the client, obviously we would need to get their permission that it's okay for us to use a picture of them. And it could be that we just, ask if we can use whatever social media picture they have. It will help to personalize it, right? So it's not just Google review, it's Sam from, she's a teacher or she's, something to make her humanize her.
Yeah.
But again, putting this in stuff, and it could even be stock photos or photos of the treatment room, like if it's Erin, maybe it's that picture of her steaming the bed. I mean, whatever. Go ahead, Victoria.
Yeah, I'm not sure with your website that you have on here, but you can link all your Google into your website. So it creates the picture that they use for their Google account, and it has a little circle and it's like their picture, and it will be interchanging so you can kind of always swipe and see all the new reviews that are just constantly coming up for you as well.
Wonder if that's something that my website developer could add in. Yeah, that would be like one last step, and then it would be constantly like new reviews, which we're working on getting more facial reviews, which it's been helpful. We have like that, we have that review incentive sitting up front when they want to tip her, because unfortunately we're medical, so we can't accept tips legally. So we have that up front for them, and then they can leave a review and then get an incentive. So that's really helping a lot too.
Yeah.
Our goal is to be at 100. We're at 87. So.
Hey, I like it. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. And then, don't know where to start. We offer no pressure consultations. So let's talk through this. And so this is mainly for med spa, or is it for both?
It's for both.
Sorry. Yeah. Okay. How many consultations do you get on the chemical peels or facials?
None. They usually just book.
Okay. So, and then how many consultations do you get on your med spa side?
A lot more.
Okay. It's a little bit more invasive and permanent. Well, not permanent, but longer lasting.
Right.
So again, if we're looking at how to support more spa site, let's maybe do it this. If I'm understanding kind of the idea with this, it's more so about getting them to communicate if they have a question that hasn't been answered, right? Or if they have a concern.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
for the consultations, you mean?
Yeah. Do you think some of your consultations for the med spa side of things would be handled through like a couple of back and forth through text? Or is it really they have to come to the scene?
Well, I think a lot of it, if they're new to injectables, they've never had it before, they don't really want to book for the service. So if they feel a little better about it being like a consultation, and because they don't really know what they want or need. So.
And how much time would you say you spend on consultations that don't book? End up getting a service ever?
They always end up getting
so you got to really cool. So there's a couple of different ways to handle this, because again, it's a lot of time taken up for, and I just look at, you're probably getting the same 5 to 7 questions in these consultations. Yeah. I'm wondering if there isn't an option for like an FAQs page where you could answer some of these so that you don't have to get involved in it, or it's also like showing and demonstrating your mastery. You could even have a YouTube video that you embed on your website and be like, here's the top 5 questions that most people who are new to injectables have. Da, 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 da. You could even have some for the facials, and you could have Erin describing our glow facial is meant for this. So it almost, again, creates that personalization, but it's taking some of that time off of your plate and having it be something that's accessible to anybody online. You will still want people who want the hand-holding. Yes, you should still do consultations because, again, you're very effective at it. But I'm wondering if we couldn't rework this a little bit to help people do a lot of research on their own so that they come in well-informed. And also from a competitive advantage standpoint, when you have a well-educated potential, all of a sudden you look at competitors' websites and it's like, they can't even hold a candle to you because you've spent so much time educating them on what they should be looking for, what is normal, what is not normal. It's okay to have fears. And then they go over here and it's like, book now, cancellation policies, da, 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 right? Or what you had before.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, so I think you might have it instead of schedule an appointment. Don't know where to start. We're happy to walk you through the service that may be the best for you. If you have a question, and then maybe put a contact box there so they can type a question. Or if just kind of think about what's the easiest for you to be able to respond to it. Contact boxes are pretty.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I do have like at the top, I do have a contact, so I could just bring that down to the bottom of that page.
Yeah, like something like this.
Yeah.
Instead of a little bit more like intentional about what type of question. Like, is it your first time and you're nervous and have questions? Here's the easiest way to get a hold of us, or you can call or text this number. Just like, what can you do to make it feel safe to ask a question? Mm-hmm. And you could for sure put that on there rather than schedule an appointment and all that. You might, but again, it can also be where you also have an FAQ page. So it could be the contact form, or check out our FAQ page, you know, for newbies or whatever. I know on some, and this for some of you, well, a lot of you, I've seen this a lot on the Amazing Lash Studios European Wax Centers. They have a new client tab on their website that has information if it's your first time, common questions, new client paperwork, like it's kind of like a whole new client section. So that would be something where somebody would go if they're a first timer to get a lot of those questions asked. So that might be an option as well.
Oh, that's perfect.
Cool. Okay, awesome. The only other thing I might put temporarily for now, since you have a smaller team, by appointment only on these days to see if there's enough demand for it. Instead of just saying close, like they're only here very limited time, put by appointment only. And if you start to see like there's demand, people keep asking for Tuesdays, then that might also help you look at your scheduling instead of just saying we're closed, there's no options. Okay. You can always say, no, I'm sorry, we don't have any availability that day, but we do have Wednesday or whatever. But it gets you noting if something is, if you're starting to see demand by people going like, oh, well, I'd like to come in Monday.
Okay.
Cool. Awesome. You guys have any feedback for her? You can unmute yourself, kind of give 2 cents, whatnot.
I did also add a earn discount column at the top. So that talks about our referral program. I initially had it $50 for the injectables and $25 for the facials, but I just felt like it was just too confusing because then they can only use that credit towards services. So I just made it a flat $25. I simplified it a little bit.
Yeah. And you can put in any sort of special promotions you have, like when you were running whatever special you're running, that can go on there. Again, when we're looking at the homepage, this is supposed to be kind of the roadmap. So you could have a section in here instead of, because again, on mobile, they have to hit menu to see all of those different options. So they have to hit this here. So
Right.
you might have like a button underneath this that says, I don't know if earn discount, special promotions or something. You saw that on the website training that I have in there. It's got different buttons, you know, just as an option. I think it was ask a question. Hold on, let me pull it up right now. Now, I'm not a web designer and I just threw this thing together, so ignore it. But we have like special offers, book now, ask a question. These are clickable, right? Get social. What's the word? There you go. I think you could use a few more photos as well.
Okay.
You are a visual, change their appearance kind of person, or kind of services. You also don't have a gallery, so that might be an option as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so those are my notes, and I gave you that. So let's look at. I know for me specifically, and this is more med spa service based, is I always look like did they botch people's shit up? So I want to see the gallery to know what kind of lips. Now for the skincare facials, it might be that you need a little bit more explanation because they are more medically driven as opposed to just a fluff facial. So I do think on your facial side of things, you need a lot of explanation on what those are. Okay, so services, I would break up your services to be the different services you have as a drop down. So I know these go to pages. So I would have the services have a Botox Dysport, a dermal fillers page, and have those linked in the services menu instead of having to make an extra click to get to where I need to. Okay. Yeah, I think, oh good, you have some benefits of dermaplaning. The only other thing I would mention on here is why we should choose that service. Like, who is this service for? If you struggle with this, this, and this service is going to be beneficial to you. If you are adding on this, I think we kind of talked about that in the read, but like, I mean, yeah. At some point, we're going to have to build out your journey that you had, that your framework or whatever it is, because that needs to be prominent. That's what's going to be your unique selling point of like how you get people on that journey.
Yeah.
But for now, until we get that in place and kind of get that mapped out, try to make it as simplified as possible for me to know, go on here and know which one's going to be best for me based on my pain points in everyday language. Not, oh, I have hyperpigmentation. It's like, no, I look like I have a mustache from when I was pregnant. Which one do I need? Right?
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Yeah, I hope you took notes because I forgot.
Yeah, I mean, a bunch of scribbles. So, but yeah.
We'll have the replay.
Yeah. There we go. Would there be any benefit like on the gallery to have like where my Instagram is? Because a lot of them, my before and afters are on the Instagram page, or no?
You could, except that not every photo is going to be of before and after. Just take those same photos. All you need is like 5 to 7 of each type of injectable, like crow's feet or wrinkles or lip filler. You know, I would start to look at what kind of photos facialists take and med spas take. I mean, look at Heather Tavine stuff just to see what shows a really good transformation before and after. Yeah, because before and afters can be really powerful. What we want with before and afters is somebody to look at it and go, I want to be the after. Right. They can relate to the before because that's where they are now, but they want that transformation.
And I think too, it's getting my esthetician to, you know, we were trying to work in, you know, her before and afters, but I think getting her comfortable to take pictures and find that like signature photography has been a struggle, because I know people want to see that as a medical driven type treatment. People want to see, like, there's if you scroll down, I actually came in the room to help her because I knew this client specifically. If you go down the post, there's like a reel I put of just the after, and people loved it.
I mean, look
of
at
just like how glowy she was.
Like how powerful of a line of demarcation is.
I looked at that today, actually, when I was looking at photography.
Still hurt. I searched med spa facials. And again, you want to look at it from a standpoint of what, like, tell her what to do versus what not to do. Like
Right.
this one, that's not a flattering angle and it doesn't really show a powerful transformation. This one looks like the person's being suffocated. Now I know that that's very relaxing, but this image of it, this image looks like somebody's about to get their face cut off. Like they're not doing it from a standpoint. But this one I can see very clear, you know, she's a little less broken out on her forehead. So, okay. Same thing here. But again, if you look at these photos, it is from the angle of the esthetician, not the client, right? A client would be facing forward. So I get it, like the esthetician's probably be sneaky, like, if she just turned to take it as a front, because now as a normal human, I'm trying to look at it like, what's this? Our eyes are not conditioned to look at faces this way.
Yeah.
Right? So
Yeah.
that's a really powerful before and after. Now, granted, she would have to have a client she's working with regularly to get that stuff.
Right. I think that's where I'm struggling is the social proof for these facials.
Yeah. So something like covering their eyes is always a good way to be discreet. This is kind of a weird one. Looks like she's laying next to herself. But even sometimes this, I mean, this looks a little sloppy because she got it all over the place, but it could show the experience of it. When we say results like this looks like her face got burned, not a good after. Right. Now, we as estheticians know it's a lot of oxygen brought to the face, right? There's a lot of like peeling. She's going to look gorgeous in like 2 days. But as a client, it's like, holy, I don't want my face to look like that. Are you kidding? So that's where you can start to be intentional about trying to find people that show off the results. Because if you're charging, what, $200 plus for a facial that's results driven, what results do your facials get? I'm asking you.
Like that's why we called it the skin gloss. Like they literally leave glossed because we add a chemical peel, we physically and chemically exfoliate the skin. So all the products that we apply after penetrate and really, you can really off your skin. The skin it should be, not the skin that's lying there dead and dull.
Yeah. So this is a really beautiful before and after. It's young. But it shows that like her skin tone has evened out. It looks healthy. It looks vibrant. I would find somebody a little bit older than this, but you can definitely have those just regularly. Just have clients sign that before and after photos are a part of it. But then also, if you find, and you may just say to her, if you find somebody that you think would be really good if they had 2 to 3 facials, be a really good social proof to see the transformation, then you might offer even for them to get free facials so that you have some social proof.
Yeah, I think we're going to have to go kind of that route. It's hard in the med spa world to have people want to show their face. It's really, really hard.
Well, that's why you're giving them free services. You can find people who want free services, right? It's like $600 worth of facials that you're giving away, doing a model call, but they have to actually show the transformation. So you need to be selective as who it is. Yeah, Victoria.
I would have them sign a release for that too. If you're giving the service for free, that could be used for the imaging for pictures of promotion on your site.
And that they will complete it. They have to show up.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you can keep the card on file and they'll be charged for the services if they do not complete the 3 treatment or whatever that you're comping them. It could even be that, like, you're proactive. You see somebody out at Target and you're like, hey, I know this is weird. I've noticed this. I own a med spa and we're looking for great before and after models. This is not a gimmick, but we really need some, new photos. And I think you'd be great. Would you be interested in having 3 different treatments or whatever? If you know friends and family or that kind of stuff or personal referrals, that's always easier. Somebody who's like invested in supporting you. Or if you get injectable clients and you're like, hey, I think you'd be a great candidate for this. We really want to help your skin. Have them do a video testimonial too, so you could run it as a reel. But yeah, you can kind of you can pick out, I think because you're going to have more of an eye for it, some of these med spa before and afters to give Erin some inspiration on what it's going to look like and what she can do. And then we can work on her language and her timing of it in the service to help set her up for success so she continues to do it. Now, if a client refuses it, the client refuses it. We're not going to force a client to take marketing photos. To me, it's just not worth it. But like, this is pretty powerful. I wish they had lined up her face more so you could really see the difference, because the shadowing doesn't really help show it off. But this is really powerful. So you can find somebody, and you can even put out a model call on social media. Hey, we're looking to have a model go through 3 treatments of da 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 for before and after photos, free services. DM us if you're interested, and then everybody you don't choose, you can send them a 30% off any facial, right? As a marketing giveaway kind of a thing.
Okay.
Cool.
But she is getting busier, so that's great. She's on vacation right now. The day that she comes back, she's fully booked. So I know.
And you got the second girl potentially starting if she leaves her other job
in April. Yeah. She's going on vacation in March. So I think her start date should be April. Just have her start after she gets back from her vacation.
You agree to leaving the other job?
I'm like 99% sure she said that. I don't think why she would continue to be an esthetician elsewhere. And I don't know. I just have this inkling that it was just like a thought in my head. And I was like, I don't think I like really honed in on that. And when I was when I was kind of reviewing the contract with the lawyer, I was like, she's still like, she could technically in this contract continue to work at her other place. And I was like, maybe I need to be a little bit.
Directly communicated, hey, I just wanted to make sure we're on the same page. I would just have that conversation as soon as possible, just so you're not planning. You can start the interview process again if she's like, no. Okay.
Got it. Yeah, I was going to send her an email too, because the contract is still like being reworked, because there was a couple addendums with the lawyer. So I told her it would be ready by next week, and I'll just mention that in that same email. Before you sign, I just want to make sure we're on the same page that you plan to work solely with me and no other spa. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. But I do think the hardest thing for me has just been the patience required to get busier. I don't know. I'm just like, because
You have to find, okay.
Yeah.
How long has it taken you to build up a clientele on the med spa side?
Some years. It's taken some years. Yeah.
You've been intentional with Erin since August-ish, July-ish?
I think she'll be here a year in October.
Right, but in October. So October she got hired. Okay. Yeah, so keep in mind, it took you years to get to where you're at, where it's like a no-brainer. You could throw an offer out there. You know what marketing works. You're learning a new skill set. While it's still under the med spa umbrella, it's a whole different pain point that you're solving for, and you're not as familiar with it because you're not doing it. So it's harder for you to know conceptually, like, it's not like you're working with these clients day in, day out of like doing their facials, but you still understand the results. And yeah, it's getting consistent marketing rather than referral-based marketing. Referral-based marketing is the number one marketing, right? It's that relationship already. However, now at the level that you're at scaling, we have to have more intentional processes with marketing as opposed to just word of mouth referrals, because we don't control that. We can try and incentivize, but we can't tell somebody and control somebody to tell somebody else. So now, yes, it's learning out all these other things. But here's the thing, you're building the foundation of this house. You won't have to build these foundations again. Once you get your website working where it's converting, maybe you update it once a year. I mean, I've had the same website for 7 years, and hopefully next week we update it, and we've been working almost a year on it. Right? Like, it's just every once in a while you need to be judged, but you're building out basically a secondary business.
Yeah. And I think niching down has been really helpful. Like, I think in the med spa world, and I'm sure any beauty business owner feels the same, is that there's always like a shiny object. You're like, oh, I need to get that, and then I'll get more people. Or I need to do this service, and then I'll get more people. Skincare, everything. Like, you just feel like bombarded. Like, I had a rep come in today trying to sell me a machine and make me feel like I needed it. I know. I was like, nope. I'm good at making it. Great.
So this is 100% for any business owner, the shiny object syndrome. That's why I only look at the data, and that's why we harp so much on the data, because we will be sold on and we'll glorify the results of everything. And then we've spent all this money and we see no growth in our business because we're not looking at what the data is telling us. Your data is not telling you you need a new skincare machine. Very rarely is it.
No, it's never.
Right? If you, and this is the same to be said for building out a team, being an educator, having a product line. If you don't have one model of a business that works, starting multiple businesses ain't going to fix it. Right? So if we don't have services that are getting demand, then adding on more services doesn't make sense.
Mm.
Right? People could fall into the PMU trap with this. I'm going to spend $3,000 learning how to do permanent makeup because it's the hot new thing. I've had 3 clients, but they say all my clients are asking for it. No, you've had 3. What happens when those 3 get the permanent makeup? You now have to keep marketing it, and we're talking about attention. So now you're taking attention off of the services that you built with lash extensions, and now we're trying to do PMU instead of looking at what the customers need to get into the door and then take them wherever, right? And that's really where your framework that you've talked about in your journey, that's where you get them in the door. You're probably getting them in the door on injectables, then moving them over to the spa side as opposed to the other way around.
Yep. And it
But
has
you're
been
kind of-
working,
Go ahead.
it's been working really well when they pre-book their appointments. I mentioned to them, if you pre-book with a facial, you save on your talks. And then we also have this facial, whatever. So I'm making it more obvious to them. I'm just trying to incorporate it the best I can. And we've had an influx of facials since we're talking about it more, since I post about it more, since I market it more. They don't know what they don't know. So, and I'm trying to work that with my front desk gal too, is like, just let them know what's going on, and like what any promotions that we're having, not just checking them out.
Have your front desk gals shadow you in the room when you're talking about that stuff and just be like, here's how I explain it. So they get, maybe 1 to 2 times a month they're in the room with you during an appointment where you're talking about it so that they can kind of see your cadence. But yeah, you're going to be the best salesperson because you have that trust already. You're shooting stuff into their face and be like, hey, yes, there's so much we can do with injectables, but have you considered this facial? Let me explain it to you because I know it's like gloss facial. What does that mean? But you explain it amazingly well. And the more you explain it, you'll be more concise with how you explain it, that you can then teach other people with that concise statement and sales to it. So
the other thing, once I get the foundation of the website and everything underway, my next step is to somehow build out, using the services that we currently have, like some kind of a membership. Like it'll be like a month to month, but that it includes a facial, and then they'll save on their injectable. Like,
let's talk about that when that becomes an option, because memberships can be really dicey. I have one.
I know.
Spend a lot of time credit card chasing, so it's a very big admin time.
Yeah,
we'll talk about that, right? And we could test out different, promotions and packages first before we go into locking them into recurring monthly payments. But
for sure. But that's just like in my head. It's like a little that we might think about later once we get like the infrastructure and the foundations and the journey down.
Keep a note of all the ideas, and quarterly you can plan to implement some of those when they make sense. But right now it's getting your facialist book because you have another one kind of lined up. We need to start pulling you back out of the treatment room. So all right. Thank you, Ms. Carey. All right. Who else has some questions? Let's dive into some cues. I'm here. Let's chitter chat. You guys don't want to talk, I'll just start calling on you, or we'll wrap it up. Kylie, did you have any questions?
Hi.
Hey, how are you?
All right.
All right.
It's been a lot with the changes that I've made. My finances are rough right now.
What is
so
rough?
I was like not good. I was wondering if maybe you could take a look at my chart, see what you think.
Where's can you say? Well, I might still have it. What's the name of the business?
Lashed.
Kylie Green. Okay. Awesome. Okay. So we've done 11,000 in sales, 9,000 in COGS. Why did our COGS go up?
Because it's also part of January's payroll in there.
Okay, so, oh, but wait, we shouldn't be looking at February because February's not over yet.
No.
So January, 31,000. So this had one of December's and one of January's payroll in it, but not one of
Yes.
February. Okay,
Yes.
56%. Cool. 13,000. So what went up with our expenses from December to?
So um that's where I'm struggling, and I know, so starting September was when I started getting really behind on payroll and everything. So that's when I sought you out because I needed to make changes. I'm worried that I might have made the changes too late because November I was so negative, so I got some loans out and now I'm paying loans. So that's why my expenses are up there.
So how much are we paying in loans in a month? Ooh, don't,
About 5,000.
a month?
Uh-huh.
How much did you take out?
25,000.
You're paying it back in 5 months?
It should be paid back in August.
How does that work? You took out $25,000 in loans. You're taking 5,000 a month. You take out multiple loans?
It's actually 4,000. So it's weekly payments. So I'm paying 1,000 per week. So it's 4,000.
Okay, so you took out a $25,000 loan. You're paying 1,000 a week. So it's a 6-month payback.
They say it's 9 months, but they said that it should be paid off by August.
Okay, so the math is not mathing. Well, what's the interest rate on it?
It's around 1%. So what I owe is about 30,000.
How when you have a 1% interest rate?
I would need to double check the interest rate, but I owe 30,000.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
like,
So 25,000 times. Yeah. It's 25,000 times a 1% interest rate, which should equal 25,000. 25,000. 25,250. That's probably low on the interest rate.
okay, it's definitely not that. I think I would need to double check the numbers, but I think at the least I owe is 28,000. At the most it was 30,000. But it was a $25,000 loan. But I did it in multiple different loans. So that's why I don't know my numbers exact, because I started off with a 10 grand loan and then I extended it another 10.
Okay. Whenever we have this type of stuff going on, and this is personal too, I always default to the Dave Ramsey baby steps. Take what you want from him as a person and his whole religious side of things. That's fine. Not a big deal to me, but he has baby steps. Okay. Dave Ramsey. I do this personally. I do this professionally, especially when I start to get to loans. So step 1. $1,000 in an emergency fund. So for me, I keep my checking account never goes below 1,000. It is always like zero in my mind is $1,000 in my checking account, business account, personal, whatever. It never goes below that. If for whatever reason it does, or if you have to use that money for whatever reason, then the next you go back to step 1 to build that back up to $1,000. Step 2 is the debt payoff. Okay, so first you start off with the lowest interest rate, or the lowest, sorry, not lowest interest rate, lowest amount of debt to pay that off first. Okay, so what are the different loans you took out? You said you had a $10,000 one, and then
Yeah, the $10,000 one is 33% paid off. That one withdraws every Monday. And that payment is 400. And
a week
then,
or a month?
yeah, a week. And then I
Okay.
had a 10,000, but in January, I added 5,000 to that, so they like renegotiated it to 1,500. And that one is 550, and it's 18% paid off.
And 550 a month, you said,
A week.
or a week?
Yeah.
And the other one's 400 a week?
Yeah.
Um, so a couple of different options. I would double check your interest rates. Right? What,
Yeah.
based on what they are, you can look at loan consolidation. Okay, so if you're doing like 23% on one and 20% of the other, there's ways that you could look at a loan consolidation to get both of them lumped together so you pay off the loans completely, have one loan that may or may not be comparable in interest or less. Sometimes you can take out a credit card, and I want to use this very cautiously because credit cards can get you in a lot of trouble, but there are credit cards that have 0% interest for your first year. So that way you're not having to pay the interest. That could lower your payment where you can pay more towards the principal. So that could be an option as well. So it could be that you're double your interest rates, look into loan consolidation, look into credit cards, and it will really depend on your credit score of what you qualify for, what the business qualifies for. I don't know. Look into credit cards with a 0% interest for the first year. Okay. So when I got divorced, this is what I did. We had a certain amount of debt that we had to kind of navigate. And so because I don't want to pay interest on it, I bought myself a year to pay that down. So then you can really start to look at what do I want to pay towards it, knowing whether I pay it off in a month or whether I pay towards it in a month or not. I'm not being penalized for it by having interest accruing or missing a loan payment or whatever. But you have to be really, really responsible in managing the money so you're at least working it down. Because chances are when you get to that year point, it's that 23, 25% interest and it's gonna kill you. But a year from now, your business is gonna look very different. So it's buying you time. Okay. Make sense? So I'm not saying don't keep paying it, but we don't do any more taking out of loans. None of you take out loans until you've talked to me first. Because it's just going to get you more and more in the hole rather than actually fixing the problem, which is the cash flow side of it. Okay. All right. So that's working on that debt payoff. Once you get to after that, once you've paid it off, then we do step 3, which is 3 to 6 months of savings. So for you guys, it will be operating expenses only. I would start with 3 months. That could take you a couple years to build that up, just depending on how cash positive you are. And then it's like paying off your mortgage and all this stuff. So I usually just look at the first 3 steps when it comes to business, but that gives you a nice safety net. Okay. But we have to be cash positive in order to be able to do any of this stuff. All right. So let's look back over here. Cool. All right. So we did 31,487, which when did everybody leave for that first week in January?
Yeah, January 1st.
So is this mostly the current team that you still have?
Yeah, no, I just had 2 girls quit. And then that's also including I'm training 3 girls who are not bringing in any income. So
I love that. So when I'm looking at the numbers, your labor cost just went down because you had 2 girls quit. Now they'll take sales. Some of those sales will drop. But you have 3 revenue producing team members that you're ramping up. When are they going to start taking clients and start producing sales?
They are all just now starting taking clients. One of them should be done by the end of next month. She'll have completed her 90 days, and she's doing really good. So soon.
Cool.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to. I mean, the cost of goods sold is a little bit tricky just because. Well, let's look at this. you've gone down 30% in 1 month of your cost of goods sold.
Yeah.
Nobody I know has done that. Right? So from December, you went from 85% COGS to 56% COGS. You lost $9,000 in sales between December and January, but I don't think that's all that different. I mean, January tends to be a slower month anyways, but your cost of goods sold significantly went down by 30%. Operating expenses went up 10%. So part of that is your reception. Well, your reception went down, which is great. And then
It's strictly my loans.
yeah, your loans in here. Because what's your average operating expenses without the loans?
8,000,
So hold on 1 second.
8 to 9,000.
Let's even if we did 9,000. Yeah. So without the loans, you're sitting pretty. Okay. So it's fine. We've got some loans in there, but you also have 3 more cash flowers coming into the pipeline, and we've gotten rid of our really expensive labor costs. So I know it's hard right now, but it's also better than it's been.
Yeah.
Right? So to some extent, it's just kind of uncomfortable in a different way, right? It's not an overnight fix. We got rid of some really, really toxic people, so that's good. You are building towards revenue producing team. So if you look at your current team that's available to take clients, how busy are they?
If you scroll to the right, I have our productivity rates. We're averaging about 80%.
Oh, beautiful. Love it. Okay, so we don't have much room for new clients to come back with the current team, but we have 2 to 3 team members starting to take during their onboarding. Is that what I understand?
Yes, I also opened up my hours to take clients for now. So
Sure.
that'll
But
add
don't
a
you
lot.
dare keep it that way.
No,
Do it a little bit. But again, your clients are going to be used to you. Who are they going to go to when you're ready to pull back again? I get it from a cash flow standpoint. Sometimes it's, we got to do what we got to do. So where are we at with the, I guess you're calling them apprentices, getting them clients, even if they're at model pricing or whatever?
yeah, good. We've kept them pretty, for the most part, booked. The one who should complete her 90 days next month, her productivity rate is at 80% right now, which is great.
Okay. Do you have model pricing?
Yeah. So I actually, yesterday, I took into effect I got rid of my tiers, and I have everyone at one price now. So yeah. So that was starting yesterday, but I mean, we're gonna have clients here and there who are gonna be like, oh, I didn't know about the change. So yeah. So I have my apprentice rates at the moment, and then I have my artists. So my apprentice rates are just the ones in the 90-day onboarding. The model pricing for my apprentices is, I don't have model pricing. So I have the apprentice prices when they're more comfortable. Yeah. And then I have the model prices. So when they're just like they're like first or second models.
Okay. Yeah, so
those
like
ones,
3 model prices, then they move into the apprentice. They just need somebody to practice on. Cool. All
yeah.
right, so these are your apprentice prices. So
Yeah.
here's my thing. If homegirl 80% booked, she doesn't need to be on apprentice pricing. Even if she drops down to 60% at the regular rate, right? If she's at that 80% productivity, she has enough demand and skill set that we don't have to keep discounting her services.
Okay.
What's coming up for you when I say that?
The reason she's there is because I'm posting a lot on Facebook and social media, like looking for model full sets.
Does she need them?
Yes. Her work is like,
Why?
it's good, but it's not like up to par with the rest of my staff.
Right. But to your point, you have other people that can take apprentice pricing. But what I'm saying is if she's at 80% booked, even if she's not up to full, she's not getting out of onboarding, but we maybe don't have to discount the services to still have demand for her. right? Because she's still delivering the same result, whether it's apprentice pricing or regular pricing. And so there's demand for that. You're just worried about people getting refund requests
Yeah,
or being,
Yeah.
okay. So that is a metric to track her on, right? Those are the training opportunities, right? So they're going to ask for the refund or request, whether it's $55 or $75, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
So my normal price is the price per minute tab. They're to the left, yeah. Those are the prices that all of my artists are at versus my apprentice prices. So it's like a
$20
$20 difference.
I don't think you're running into any different issues between a $55 service and a $75 service. It's still going to be the same problems that come up. You just are now making 20 extra dollars off of her.
Okay.
Right? If somebody wants, or if somebody's unhappy with the results, and this should be how you communicate with every client, whether they're an apprentice or not. You know, if you're unhappy for any reason, please let us know. Now she is in her training, so it actually benefits her if she gets people who aren't happy with the results because she's still in training. And that's where your time, instead of being in the treatment room, can be, please come back in, let's get you in, let's work with her. Because when, you know, we can teach them theoretically everything we could possibly know, but they're still going to not be able to apply everything right in that moment. They're going to need time, experience. So when we get the unhappy clients and we have our client satisfaction guarantee and we get her back in, then you're supposed to be with her when that client comes in, make it a, Victoria, share what you do when clients are unhappy, especially when somebody's in their onboarding and training.
Yes. So when they're in their onboarding and training, we actually have them first sign out just a regular piece of paper that just lets them know that this person is in their onboarding and training. And even though they've had X amount of hours of training before, they're still perfecting their crafts for the first 3 months. So we encourage feedback. We want you to feel comfortable, and they sign that, and they're agreeing to that in the very beginning, that, okay, we understand this person is there. That opens up the door for communication. During consultations, we touch on that. Please feel comfortable telling us anything. If somebody at the end is unhappy in any sort of way, we go over like how the team member is to handle it. At first is like, I'm sorry we didn't nail your expectation today. However, I would love the opportunity to make it right for you. Let me go ahead before you even walk out. Let me get you scheduled, and we'll get you in the next 1 to 3 days. And then that way, we can correct anything that you need. And let's say you leave and you realize, hey, I actually like them. They look good. We can cancel that for you. No problem. But I just want to make sure that we at least have something on the books for you, and we can get you in. And then if they come in, if the person is still like visibly upset, then I'll come in and support that team member. And it's just setting that really clear expectation when they're coming in that second time. Please tell me, how did I not nail it for you, and what look you're wanting to achieve? That way I know moving forward what we can do for you to fix it.
Okay. Okay, awesome.
It's going to help your training when you're getting that direct feedback and can tell the artist, here's what she's saying. She's saying they're not full enough. Now, she's on the table, you're going to be talking with her and see how you only got the top lashes. When the client opens her eyes, it's the bottom lashes she's seeing. So we need to get that bottom layer in. That's what we're going to do today. So we need to really focus on the isolation. It's going to give you specific problems to teach to, as opposed to just like the theory base where you're trying to teach everything you know. But that feedback that a client's unhappy is going to help you train her to be better. So it's better to do that during the onboarding, as opposed to when she's out of onboarding and she has to keep her free fixes under 2 a month or whatever. So to some extent, Victoria, do you have different pricing for when they're in onboarding?
Yes, we do. Sorry, my Zoom thing
And
went.
how do you get clients out of that? Is it just for the full sets or just and the fills, or how does that work?
That's it. It's the
Yeah,
only thing that we have is full set, lash lifts, brow laminations, and henna. Those are the only things we have discounts on. So if they come and they get like a lash lift, and then they come again and they get their lash lift within that 3 months. All right, I'm sorry. Guys, please, I'm on. And then that's okay. But then once they go out and they book out past that 3 months, we always communicate to them, hey, I'm going to go ahead and rebook you. You are out. I won't be in training, or I won't be, perfecting my skills at that time. So just to let you be aware, there is that. I always like to steer away from the word of price. I just like to say, I can't even remember what to say at the time, but I'll look back at that wording that I used with them. And the fills are all the same as a regular fill price. Fills are not discounted. So fills are the same, time is different. So for
Yeah, that's where you're going to run into.
I'm sorry, what?
She's building a clientele at this price point, right? So when she's out of onboarding, those clients are likely not going to continue on. Discount the full sets all you want,
Okay.
right? But they need to be at the regular fill pricing. Otherwise, you're building a clientele during onboarding and they're not going to want to go $20 more for the same person. So you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot early. So maybe that's what you do. You can keep your full sets at the same price, but the fills now go up because she may now drop in percentage because people are like, oh, I just wanted the $55. Get her up to the regular fill pricing. Do what you want with the full sets. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that way it's, and when you have lash lifts and that kind of stuff, that's what she's talking about. Like they may come back for 2 lash lifts while she's in her onboarding, but you can say, hey, just as a heads up, I'm graduating out of the onboarding. So the investment will be this much for your next service. As opposed to whatever the apprentice price. Yeah. But otherwise you're building her a clientele during onboarding that you're going to change and she's going to lose all those clients and then you're going down in profitability. So you would actually probably be more profitable during her onboarding rather than when she's actually trained. So.
I see. Okay. Cool. Thank you.
Right.
Yeah.
So all of that to say, that's really where your time and energy is best spent rather than you being in the treatment room. But, you know, you got to do what you got to do. So otherwise, it's kind of hard to say. I want to see how February turns out. But it's still, I think, until you get those new team members, because it sounds like the rest of your team can't really produce much more in sales. You can try and incentivize them again to work on their Google reviews, do some of that marketing, and try and get them to sell retail or any ways to add on a brow wax or something. Try and get classic clients up to hybrid. There's ways to still increase sales without having to have new clients come in the door.
Yeah.
So that would be a way to work with your team currently to try and increase their sales. So let's write some of those down for you.
So we are this month, we're doing that like Valentine's special where you can upgrade a fill for the price of your normal fill. Yeah, so we've had a lot of people hop on that, which has been great.
And then the key thing is getting your team members to encourage the clients to book that same fill the next month without the special to it.
Yeah.
Right? Do you like the hybrid again? Right.
Yeah.
Do you offer any sort of let's see. Services. Yeah, like the brow stuff. They can add on. Is this like a brow wax and tint? Yeah, I would say that they should also offer brow wax and tints because that you could probably add to a service for nominal time and still just any way to increase sales a little bit. Actually, you're not that profitable on that service. Do you think you could cut the service time down on your brow wax and tint? Or is that processing time?
Probably. So my booking system's in increments of 15. So if I cut it down to, if I cut it down to 15 minutes, that would be pushing it.
Darn you, booking software making it difficult. Okay. So this really is where I see the opportunity for you to have a little bit more control over your payments and not having to pay an insane amount of interest. It's going to depend, even if you can get the $10,000 one on that plan and then try to throw a bunch more money at this $15,000 one, it'll just depend on what you qualify for as far as a credit loan. If you can't do the full amount you have remaining, which is just under 20 grand, then look and see if you can just do one of them and then put your payments on pause for that to try and pay off the other one that is still accruing interest, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yep.
And then maximize your client spend. And I mean, honestly, your marketing sounds like it's killing it. It's just we don't have the team that's fully ramped up. But I do think, and you can use this as future metrics that when we have, so apprentice pricing is only on full sets and lifts and tints, like the non-recurring services, right? Okay. Bills.
Kylie, are you incorporating the golden collagen under eye pads or lip masks whenever they're getting lash extensions done?
Yeah, so we actually, because of you guys, we started offering the lip masks for $5 add-ons. My iPads in general, though, they already have collagen in them, and that's always been a part of the service.
Mhm.
So that's not really an add-on.
Okay.
But yeah, it's been cute. Some of the clients notice it and they're like, "Oh, cute. That's a good way to tell me to shut up."
What
I
we
sold
do,
them in packs for, it's like I do that in the service for the $5 lip mask that cost me, you can buy them on Amazon for like 20
Yeah.
cents a piece. And then I sold them in 3 packs for, I think, $12. So they actually saved $3 by buying them in a 12 pack as a retail item. And I put it in a cute little organza bag, and like, it's just a way to like nickel and dime people who like it, especially during winter months.
Mhm.
All right. Cool.
Okay.
You feeling good? You feeling like this is a good game plan for you?
Yes, thank you.
Cool.
I'll look into that.
Yep.
Thank you,
My
thank
L
you.
button is not working. Okay. How we doing, guys? Good? It's all beneficial for you? We can keep working. Who wants to go next? What does model pricing look like? Natalie, are you still here? Can you unmute, or are you busy?
Yeah, I'm here. One sec. Put my video.
All right, model pricing.
Hello.
What questions do you have? By the way, I'm so excited for your new hire. Why didn't you share that as a win?
Because I felt like I did in the
you
thing and
did.
just people, yeah, but I'm very excited. Very, very excited. Nervous, because there's that whole thing about, now I'm paying someone without that income coming in, but it's part of the whole thing. So I'm excited though. Yeah,
let's
I
talk about
am
your
going.
Go ahead.
What did you say? Oh,
I said talk about your
just
onboarding.
yeah. I'm going to I was gonna start having to look into like model pricing and what that's gonna look like for her and all of that. Dreama had said that she was just charging everybody the same, and I'm kind of tempted to do that too and just eliminate the whole back and forth of pricing and just kind of going for it.
It depends. I mean, yeah, when we're talking about the full sets are always a means to get somebody in the door. It's really the fills that we're more concerned with as like your bread and butter of your business when you're lashes.
Mhm.
So, Victoria, how do you want to speak to that at all? Whether they keep the same price or the discount? I mean, when we're talking about a discount, it's getting people in the door quickly for a very
Mhm.
limited time for a very specific reason. So whether you're doing it as a promotion versus model pricing, the reason and that context around the communication that this is somebody new, right? That it may not be the same results that you see on our Instagram page. That's really what needs to be communicated, regardless of the price point. But you may have people being more willing to settle and, be okay with that
I
because they're
feel
not
like
paying.
yeah, no, I totally get that. I almost feel like I wouldn't necessarily even be comfortable with them doing it unless they were where I wanted them to be, like at all.
How
That's
can
how,
you without? Go ahead.
yeah, so that's how you can market it. So we market that they do 100 hours of hands-on training before they're even open to the floor, is what we say.
Mhm.
The 100 hours is really the 3 weeks that they're working. First week shadowing us, learning our ways. The next 2 weeks is that model where it's not clients, but it's friends and family at a model rate that they're coming in. And then and then like that third week is when they start to take paying clients at that discounted rate. And it sets the expectation up that, again, it is somebody who's perfecting their skill, even though they're licensed, they've been trained, and it does a great job of bringing people in and doing the urgency that it's only available for like 2 months, two months and 1 week, right? That it's only there. So
Mhm.
get in now, because across the board, the fields are the same. And when we're talking about that with the client, we always talk to them, your first initial set is going to be your largest investment with time and money. And going forward, that's all you want to look at. So you can look at, you're only coming in $90 once a month to maintain this service for you. And if they can get that $9 once a month, but with that first initial set 25% off, it's kind of a no.
Mhm.
I think it's just
That's
more
not, yeah.
more person.
That's a great way to look at that. Yeah. And I was gonna say, so what kind of a discount do? You do the 25% off, you said?
Yeah, but you still want to look at your spreadsheet to make sure if 25% off is still profitable for you.
Okay. Right.
Natalie,
Okay.
have you shared your spreadsheet with me recently?
I did on our one-on-one coaching call. I don't have anything updated yet. I haven't done anything since then, which was just like a couple weeks ago, I think.
What's the name of the business?
The Lash Capital.
TLC.
Yes.
Okay. Phew, it hasn't been updated, is what you said? Okay, so we're just looking at your full sets. Now you might have their times longer, right?
Mhm.
They may not be at the 2 hour classic, so we could adjust that. And we're not looking at it necessarily being at the same profit level. We just want to make sure we're not losing money. Although if you did, it's
Right.
not the end of the world. Training. So I'm just gonna mess with this real quick. Okay, we'll just do this. Copy. Are you gonna train them on the UV stuff?
Not yet. No.
Might want to. All right, so let's say it's 180 minutes. 100, let's put 200 minutes, and then 150. I'm just like adding on an hour to 50.
Mhm.
Okay, so a little profitability. So what if we did? Yeah. Oh, but they're not at the 49 cents, are they? What is?
No, she would be
What
at
is your new hire?
$15. 15, which is so crazy.
Right, love it. I was thinking
Yeah.
about it the other day too. People work at restaurants for like $2 an hour and just live off
I
of
was,
tips. Like,
yep, I was thinking of that too. Totally.
all right, so that's a little bit better. Okay, so now if we look at, even if we did a 30% off, yeah, you could do a 30% off and still be profitable by 11
Okay.
to 12%.
Okay.
Okay, so you're increasing the time. We're doing a discount just on the full sets.
Okay.
Okay, for new artist promotions. So let me do this one as well. 185. Like looking at 130. Because think about it. If somebody's been following you for a long time, they love your lashes, and they just, oh God, it's just a little bit out of reach. This gets them in the door, and then they come back for fills.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So there may be sitting on the because of your price point on the full sets, but then all of a sudden there's like a crazy good deal. Sure, somebody's new
Yeah.
in training, but they're your way. Now all of a sudden they're
Mhm.
like, heck yes, I don't mind paying the $75 every 2 weeks, but that $150, $200 chunk right off the top. And you
Mhm.
get somebody who's already building a clientele. People have been eager to get in with you at
Yeah.
the lowest rate ever be. Now, your promotions here forward shouldn't go anywhere near 30%, maybe 20%, 15%, whatever.
Okay.
But that would be a great way for her to start building a clientele and for you to start stockpiling your profitability because she's so low. And then it would make sense to start phasing out the other team if they're pricey.
Okay.
Okay, so let me make some notes here. So if you
Okay.
wanted to do it, you could do 30% off full sets and increase timing of service by up to 60 minutes. Right, so we accounted for that in the spreadsheet.
Mhm.
So when has she started yet?
She had to give a 2-week notice. She works currently at Amazing Lash, so she is starting the 26th.
Is she in a non-compete with them?
I did not even ask about that.
Okay. might want to just ask her because they have they're they're very corporate-y. I don't know Arizona's
Oh,
non-compete laws if they're just it's better to ask and to understand what her employment contract is because if he starts getting
okay.
sued and working for you, like you don't want that.
Oh my gosh.
It
Okay.
may
She did ask
go ahead.
me if because I'm only hiring for part-time and she wants more hours, she did ask me if she could work at both places, and I told her absolutely not.
And you might be able to
So,
give her more hours.
yeah, I said absolutely, that's an option, and let's get you booked first, for what we're hiring for. But dang, okay, yeah,
Doesn't
I'll
say
have to.
specifically. So see if she has a copy of her because how far away is the Amazing Lash from your business?
It's quite a ways away. She's in Mesa. I'm in Gilbert. I know that doesn't mean anything to you, but it's quite a ways away.
More than 15 miles?
I don't know. I'll have to find out. That's a stretch, or it's probably close. I'll have to find out.
Yeah.
When I
It would
had
just depend.
when I had Rihanna or do my legal paperwork, she wrote it for 6 miles for mine. So I don't know if 15 miles would even like hold up.
Right. Yeah. So have her not tell them that she's working at another lash place. Just say,
Okay.
I don't know what your contract is, but let's not stir anything. I don't know if it'll be enforceable or not, but just depends on the ownership if they're really like sticklers about it and you get some
Okay.
controlling people with money.
Mesa and
Yeah.
Gilbert are 7 miles apart.
What?
7
Okay.
miles. Mesa and Gilbert.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's giving me different, saying some are 3 to 5, some say 25. I mean, it's just, I think it would be hard to enforce if it's
Mhm.
like right on the border. Even if it says 15 miles in her contract and she's like 14.5, it would be weird for a judge to enforce that, but you never know. Like I don't know if anybody's heard, but the Lashify chick is just, I guess, some spoiled chick with dad's got a lot of money and she's suing, I guess, every lash brand out there to try and put them out of business, including eyelash extension
Wow.
brands. She can't. Trying to make Lashify like the only lashes that are out there. It's weird. But okay.
I have one
So
more question after this, just when you get a chance.
Yeah.
Just because this has come up a couple times and it came up yesterday. What is your guys' take on? So we had a client who booked out a full set, and when she comes in for the appointment and is talking to the lash artist, she says that she has had sounds like an allergic reaction in the past. And so then my lash artist takes it amongst herself to say, well, we should do a patch test first then, which we don't charge for a patch test. And that's like now we lost 2.5 hours off the books and all the money, which I feel like I have a hard time telling her not to do that because that sounds like the right thing to do. But at the same time, this is a grown woman who's like knows
2.5 hours.
what's that?
So let me understand this. The client is filling out the consultation form, said she has a history of allergic reactions, and then we just did patch test and not the full set, right? Is that what you're saying?
So she came in, yeah, she scheduled the full set, came in for it, and now she's laying down on the bed to do the full set, and just in conversation has said, yeah, I've had swollen eyes before. And then Jordan, the lash artist, says, maybe we should do a patch test first then, especially because you have an event coming up this weekend. And then the person says, oh, okay, let's do that. And now it's turned into a free service,
Sounds like your waivers and liabilities in your consultation form needs to have that on there so they're never in the treatment room without disclosing their medical history that's relevant to the service. So on your consultation forms, it should say, something like I have a history of even acrylic nails, if they've had reactions to that, it's still an acrylate, so they can have a reaction to that for their eyes as well. So it sounds like your consultation forms are not super thorough, and it needs to also say on there somewhere like I have disclosed all of my relevant medical history, now don't quote me on the language of this, but all of my relevant medical history to my service
Mhm.
provider. Your waiver and liability or whatever release of liability should also cover
Uh-huh.
that. Just she doesn't disclose that she is acknowledging I have disclosed everything. So that should happen in the consultation before you ever get to the treatment bed. Okay.
Okay, so yeah,
Second
we
to
don't
that,
have a consultation. We have, you know, like they come in and fill out their consent form as their appointment, right before their appointment's happening. So we don't have a pre anything.
okay, how do you know what they want and what results that they're looking for?
In the consultation, which happens just before they get their lashes applied.
So I think we need more of an intentional consultation. There's so much I want to teach you guys at the retreat, but there's so little time. Those 2 days go by fast because we have our signature client experience that we start to walk you guys through to be intentional about this stuff. I'm trying to think if we'll do that this retreat or the next one. Because I really wanted to focus on marketing and then your performance improvement plan, Victoria. We could do signature client experience on this retreat because what it is it's a lot of ways to set you and the client up for success when you have these steps to a signature client experience and making sure that we're communicating realistic expectations, having time, even if it's 10 to 15 minutes, and it's their first time because you don't get that first time and that first impression back. So if they're just jumping in the bed and they're like, I don't know, do whatever, or yeah, this is what I want, and we're kind of like rushed for time, then we may be missing the results and then we don't get clients to come back or we have to do free fixes. So it's worth the time on the front end to establish those expectations, walk through any sort of medical relevant stuff, talk through policies, make sure that everybody is on the same page. And then we go to the treatment room and get them all wrapped up, ready to go. So I think we have an opportunity to improve your consultation and your first time client experience.
Mhm.
So part of your homework here is to just write out what your first time client experience is step by step and share it with us in the group.
Okay.
Did we do it? We might have.
Sorry, my phone is my things are dying. Did we do what? I'm sorry.
Dreama was saying that we did it in August at the August retreat. We might have done it. But I know we did it at February's retreat last year, and the only nobody went to that retreat that's still in the program. So we tried to do it at least once a year to get that mapped out. But you guys can all do this and write it out and share it in the group too. And you might start to see where there's gaps, but we want to make sure everybody's doing that first time experience step by step. Actually, Victoria, write down or text me the Ritz-Carlton customer service book. That's what book we'll give you guys for that. Surprise,
nice.
spoiler alert. Go ahead, Victoria.
Can I just say something on the tests on eyelash extensions for allergic reactions? A lot of times you're only there for 10, 15 minutes applying 5 lashes per eye or however long it is, and then they're out.
Right.
With the allergic reactions, your full set is going to be around 2 hours. They are exposed so much more to the fumes. So a lot of times you'll get false negatives for a test
Right.
that, okay, they've only in there 5, 10 minutes, they're out the door, they don't quote unquote have an allergic reaction at that point. But the more they're sitting there and they're exposed
Right.
to it, the more chance that then you have a full set. And then if they have an allergic reaction, just make sure in your waivers, whatever your return policy is, it includes if you return on allergic reactions or not. We make it abundantly clear. Anytime anybody comes in on their consultation, they say they have a history of any swelling or anything, we do not do the service on them. We say, okay, and we explain to them, some people will say, oh, it is like just use a sensitive adhesive on me. It's still the alkylate that's in there. It's just at a lower percentage. You're still exposed. And we are so strong with it because I am somebody who's like highly allergic to freaking everything. I can't go get my nails done because of the same thing. It's the alkylate on there. So we take the allergies very serious that like, if they say anything of any type of allergic reaction, we tell them the 3 components that you could be allergic to. If you want to know anything about the MSDS, we will send that to you. However, this may not be the correct service for you. What look are you wanting to achieve? And would we be able to achieve that for you with a lash lift intent? And just kind of walk them through maybe a different option just because I've had personal experience and with some clients of like, oh no, it's fine. Yeah, I get allergic reactions, but we're still, just do it anyways. Just do it anyways. They're back the next day and they're like, remove them at once. And they've got those eyes that are like this. And it's
Yeah.
actually not good to remove them right away either, because it's breaking those bonds and it's releasing the fumes again to them. You're using the acetone to
Nope.
basically break it up. No, so anytime there's an allergic reaction, please go to your doctor, and then your doctor can email us on what they would like to do moving forward, if we're gonna remove then, or if we wait, but always send the doctor right away. It's not like you're gonna do a removal for them. So
Yeah.
that's my rant on allergies. You guys are welcome.
Yeah. Okay, so
I
it
am-
sounds like I need to do a better consultation prior to the appointment. To determine that, because literally it becomes a waste of time, like they literally just, now we have to.
If your team had been trained on, when somebody mentions they've had an allergy, we immediately offer the lash lift and tint, because that very rarely has an allergic reaction. So it's
Oh.
to still make some money,
Okay.
right? And
Yeah.
and if the client really wants extensions, you guys can give them the MSDS sheets for the adhesive, and any, like if you use wash, anything like that, they can pay on their own to go get cosmetic allergy testing. But for liability reasons, we do not work on anybody who has had a sensitivity or allergy to the adhesive or anything in lash extensions. It's just
Mhm.
not worth risking your eye health over, eyelash extensions.
Yeah.
And
We do a
they
great
will
job.
respect that. They will respect you taking that added measure and that added stuff, because basically you're gonna be allergic to the acrylate, formaldehyde byproduct, or the carbon black. Those are mainly the three things, and you can go get tested for that. They can do a formaldehyde patch and get it, but the chance somebody's actually going to go through and do that, they're probably most likely not going to, but they will respect you as a professional to know what you're talking about and having those standards that you're holding your business to protect
Right.
them. Because
Right.
essentially
Okay.
that's what you're protecting them.
You can even say our insurance won't cover any claims should whatever, and you can
Yeah.
be very clear with your team, teach them how to have those conversations professionally. Because if somebody's upset and they're like, whatever, my other girl used to do it all the time, and like it's uncomfortable for a couple of days, and just be like, I'm unwilling to put you through discomfort, right?
Yeah.
You can find somewhere else that it would do that, but we don't do that here. We need to operate in integrity. So need a doctor's note clearing them for the 3 primary ingredients that cause allergies. Your UV thing, does that somehow minimize?
It's supposed to take down the chances of a reaction by a lot, and we have not found that to be the case, to be honest.
Love these claims. So it's the cyano, acrylate, carbon black, and formaldehyde.
And just be
Yeah,
clear,
I just don't mix with allergies. Go ahead.
the formaldehyde is not actually in the adhesive, but it's that byproduct of them. Because I know some clients would be like, ew, why is there formaldehyde on me? But it's actually a chemical reaction of the byproduct of the adhesive that's going on.
Stuff for formaldehyde and like tons of stuff. I remember when I was in an educator training with my brand lashes, we were in a hotel conference room and somebody was explaining it of like, if there was like a shot glass of water in this entire room, like a big conference hall, that would be how much formaldehyde is released in comparison to the air. So she's like, it's very nominal, but enough to create irritation. I mean, if you think about it from like a peanut allergy, my son has a peanut allergy. It doesn't matter whether he gets a teeny tiny little bit of peanut or a whole peanut or like smothered in peanut butter, he's still going to have an allergic reaction. And the more you're exposed to it, the worse your allergen gets. So if they've had little bits before, it's just a ticking time bomb for them to have full-blown hamburger eyes.
Yeah.
Right? And then go to the ER and call you in the middle of the night that they're in pain and all this. It's just not worth it. And from a liability standpoint, that's not a client we're going to build with.
True.
Right? So lash lift is the default alternative. And honestly, it's going to save them money. It's a beautiful result. Like I have heard on like probably at least a dozen times over the last 6 weeks that lash lifts and tints are taking off. So
yeah.
have at it.
Okay.
Okay.
And yeah,
All right,
Dreamer,
any other-
the UV is not good for the allergic reactions. People are loving it for the not like they're able to get their lashes wet instantly, like, and go to the gym and all of that and not have to worry about it, which honestly I don't even think is that big of a deal with a regular adhesive, but they love that that's like a big selling point about it. So they do, they love it. And the retention on it is pretty damn good. But if you know what you're doing, you can have really good retention with regular adhesive too, but they eat it up. They do. So
The new hot thing, right?
yeah.
All marketing. All right. Oh, this was from last time. Drama, did you have any questions? I already had your name there. Or Sydney.
Hi. I don't know if I have any questions. I feel like I'm just in like, I don't know,
Slow ads trying to get clients mode.
yeah. So just kind of like in a waiting period. Try not to force anything that doesn't need to be forced and see what
How
happens.
are sales going? Well, how did sales go in January?
We were down in January, so from December, but that kind of tracks from where we were like the year previous. We did get more clients. Can you hear all that background noise, or are you okay? Okay. We have had new bookings recently. So that's good. It's not as many as I want though. So
Let's talk about it. I'm not a sit and wait around kind of gal. Sometimes I am, but I think there's always different ways. So did you start posting more like we had talked about to see if
Yes,
there was a correlation with that?
I didn't do that so much in January, but I've started it again now. So I've got reels, posting reels and posting regular images. We've been doing better with our photos, with our
Yay!
Yeah, those
And
things.
did I hear you say you've gotten more bookings? It's just not enough?
We have got more bookings, yeah. So I don't know if there's 100% correlation, but maybe.
It's looking pretty good.
Yeah.
So when those clients came in, we're tracking how they came in. So January new clients, do we have kind of a lead source that
Yeah.
those came in from?
We found that from the new clients we had in January, it was word of mouth and Google. And from whatever new clients we've had in the past few weeks, it's been the same. Like we haven't gotten anything from like Facebook or anything else.
Okay. But yeah, there's still a pretty decent correlation. So it may just be more of that funnel working. They're finding you on Google, but then they're like looking through other things too to get that social proof.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I say just keep on that posting frequency and that posting schedule. I think you've already got the reviews and the referrals and all that kind of stuff working, right?
Yeah, we've amped up referrals again. So that's another thing that we started doing start of February is the reviews again. So we've gotten like 30 new reviews in the past 2.5 weeks. Yeah.
Wow.
So I've been doing
that's
that.
amazing.
I've been replying to the reviews. I added questions on Google and answered them. I've been adding more photos to Google My Business, which I did before, but sometimes I kind of forget. So I kind of just been doing a dump on there.
Are you using that playbook? Because these would be great things to put in there to kind of keep track, if just in case you fall off, and use your marketing playbook that we created so you guys can keep track of this stuff that's working. So like Natalie, putting in your 30% off full sets, like new clients, so you guys have one place to go where all of your marketing is so that you don't forget or you don't remember what worked and what didn't work, right? Be very intentional about tracking and documenting the things that are working in your business and how to refine them and optimize them.
Yeah. I'm going to add that to the marketing playbook. I was trying to do a lookalike audience we were trying to do it in Facebook, but we couldn't figure it out in Facebook because of my weird business connection.
Meta.
And Meta couldn't even help us. So then I uploaded it to Google and tried to do the demand gen ad, and I don't think I have enough information to add the demand gen, but it looked like I could add it to the campaigns and ads that I already have running. So I was talking to my sister-in-law about that today, and I'm just waiting to hear back from her what she thinks.
So the demand gen needs a certain amount of hits to your website in order to be utilized. Is that what I'm understanding?
I think it's that I didn't have enough, like my seed list, they call it a seed list, is not large enough. Like you don't want to it needs to be more than 1,000. And I was like
Okay.
a few emails shy of 1,000.
Okay. You're how many emails shy?
I want to say it was probably anywhere between 100 and 50. So I was thinking maybe just retry it again in a couple months after we've gotten some new clients in.
Well, do you think that that really is a big thing that could be a difference maker for your business?
I
don't know
no-
demand.
Yeah, I have
Victoria,
no
have
idea.
I'm sorry, say that one more time.
Google Ads, there's a feature called demand generate.
I was
something
actually
like
going
that.
to ask you guys, can you clarify for me what that means? Demand gen?
So it's basically an ad that it takes a lookalike audience from your customer list that you upload, and then it starts targeting people based off of your lookalike audience. So kind of like what Facebook does,
Okay.
but for Google.
So, a couple of different things. If and I honestly haven't heard about it. They're going to introduce new stuff all the time. However, what we could do as an option, let's say you need 100 more emails. It's interesting to me that they can't take the traffic to your website as the lookalike audience. So that would
Right.
be first and foremost. You can do that in Facebook ads. So the fact that Google wouldn't be able to use its own traffic to track seems a little weird. So that might be something to look into, is like, what are some other seed lists or traffic sources that we could use? So if we can't do it in Facebook, but we think this might be really good, maybe somebody can ask Deirdre about it if they still have a connection with her, of like, is this the new hot thing? If you need like 100 more emails, what we could do is run Facebook ads for some sort of like email generation, lead generation campaign to get you your last 100 emails.
Mhm.
So you can still do a lead ad where they're basically inputting their email in there, just like I think Zach, that's what Zach teaches, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, I can't remember, in that Facebook ads class. Do you remember that one from the Lashpreneur Society? Zach Spuckler.
Mm-mm.
So there's a way to be able to do that to get you the final emails you need to then upload it into Google Ads. So your seed list is your current clients, is that correct?
Yeah, it was current clients as of the 24th of January. So,
And then past clients too, like anybody who had an email in your system?
uh-huh.
Yeah, so see how many more you need. I mean, even if you throw $50 at it or $100 at it to get those final emails to be able to do these kinds of ads, if we think that they're going to be really, if your sister-in-law thinks that they're going to be.
Yeah, that's what she does. And she said it was worth, or she thinks it might be worth it. Trying, since the Facebook one wasn't giving, we weren't able to do the Facebook. So
Is it just creating a new creative that is basically like a shorter reel?
I just used the same ads that I already have running on, like the same creative, like display ads and everything that I have on Google right now, like those same ads.
So how does the gen differ from either the other three ads that Deirdre teaches to have?
I honestly don't really know. Other than that, this is the only campaign you can do a lookalike audience with.
Okay.
Yeah, lookalike audiences, A/B experience. Meh. I mean, if you had the emails and you wanted to test it out, sure. Lookalike audiences are great because it takes your client list and goes and finds more people. I don't know how Google would do that though. Right? It's one thing on social media when they follow other pages and stuff, but Google is solely looking at searches, right?
But I think that's when you upload, well, I don't know. Never mind. I don't understand it all.
I mean, again, if you needed just a few more emails, like I would say 100 or less, you could run, Facebook ads or whatever to get more emails. You could put a pop-up on your website for them to plug in their email to get a discount, whatever. There's ways to get people's emails. Lead ads in social media like Facebook and Instagram tend to be easiest because they're in the platform. They don't have to leave the platform to get whatever the thing is. I think that's what Zach taught on in his masterclass. Now it may be a little outdated because that was, I think, 2 years ago, but let me just double check real quick. Aside from that, how's New Girl doing? You said she's not quite up to snuff, but she's doing well.
Maddie, yeah, she's doing good. I mean, she's been with us for, it's almost 6 months. I have noticed a few things that I think there's a disconnect. So what I'm actually doing is kind of asking her questions and testing her, because I think that the processing of, I know that I've said it to her, but maybe haven't had her ask it back to me, teach it back. So it's just more my teaching, I think, that I'm working on and getting better. So, and which will help me for the next time I hire.
Right?
Yeah.
Always get her into
Yeah.
Okay, let me and then we will wrap it up. So just as a heads up to you guys, we do need to know by the 20th if you're coming to the retreat or not. That way we can make our final numbers to be able to plan out everything that we need to plan out. And then let's see. No masterclass.
I could jump in really quick and say I'm not gonna be able to make the in person. But you guys know I'm always on the camera the whole day, even if I can't.
Oh, but we're supposed to meet in person, Berlin, and now you're robbing me.
You guys rub my belly and everything.
I wonder about the baby belly. Oh,
I know.
yeah. Okay. Dream, I'm going to link you to the training with Zach Spuckler, because he does talk about how to create lead ads if you want to go that route of getting more emails. I'll link that in the thing. Come on. Berlin, I'm so sad. There. All right, so yeah, I think you're doing a lot of really great, I mean, foundational stuff. The only other thing that I can think of, when's the last time you did a retargeting email of some kind to past clients that haven't been in? Were we talking about that and trying to get them in for
we talked about that, and I did a lash lift and tint one. And we got 2 bookings from that. And that was retargeted to everyone on our email list.
Yeah, update your playbook with these little things. Like, yeah, okay, maybe 2, but how much money was that came in?
Yeah.
$200?
About, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, worth it for 5 minutes of your time. You can copy and paste that same email in the future. So, all right, so update playbook with what's working. Cool. All right, any other questions, Maneer?
No, not really.
All right, well, keep us posted.
Will do.
All right, y'all. That's all we got for today. So we're not going to be doing the breathwork session that we have originally scheduled for this weekend. We are going to move that to the retreat. So we will be doing the breathwork at the retreat. And then, yeah, we need to know by Tuesday whether you're coming or not. And then obviously we've got the retreat coming up. So get ready for some fun times in Nashville. The weather's been amazing. All right. That's all we got for you today. Mwah. Talk to you guys soon.
Bye, guys.
Bye, Xander.